Hello, good evening. Welcome to Living Arts. I'm your host, Jackie Suarez. Thank you for tuning in. Tonight we have another terrific show for you. I'm here with Sarah Adams of the Cassatt Quartet and Laura Kaminsky, who's going to be moderating a concert that's going to be thrown at the Botanical Gardens in New York. Ladies, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
I've been looking forward to having you here. This has actually been in the works for a while because one of the members of your group, who's not here today, is Jennifer Leschnauer. Is actually, our children go to school together, or my niece goes to school with her daughter.
Fantastic.
And we've been trying to kind of connect and just talk about the group, and I'm so glad that you're here tonight.
Thank you for having us.
So for the people in the audience that are not too familiar with your group, why don't we go ahead and give them a little background on Cassatt.
Okay, well, the Cassatt String Quartet began in 1985. All were students at Juilliard, and Bobby Mann came up with the name Cassatt, named after Mary Cassatt, the painter. Impressionist painter. I joined in 1987, and we were prize winners at the Banff International Quartet Competition. And the quartet went on to study with the Tokyo Quartet at Yale School of Music, and then went on to play all over the world. I happened to stopped for a while and raised some children in the meantime, but joined again about 4 years ago. The members are Muneko Otani, who plays first violin, and Jennifer Leschnauer plays second violin, and I play viola, and then Elizabeth Anderson plays cello.
Okay. So you guys have been together for quite a while. I think back a couple of years ago you had your 20th anniversary, although you were not with the group the entire time.
Right. Well, actually it's 30 years coming up.
Wow, what a long career.
Yeah.
You know, you've been described as one of America's greatest ensemble quartets.
Well, that's nice to hear.
It's true.
It is
They
true.
are. I've had the privilege of writing a quartet for them.
Okay.
And it was an incredible experience. They're dedicated, passionate, thoughtful, and totally musical performers. You know, it just pours out of them. So they really are among the top.
Thank you. We play a lot of contemporary music. That's I would say it could be half and half. We do the old faithful war horses, but we also do work with composers of our day, and that's like some of the most exciting stuff we do. Meeting the composers and the process of working with composers, and fine tuning and trying to understand, and then recording. It's really fascinating.
You know, do you think, I guess, over time, where just chamber music in general, people don't maybe listen to it as much as, you know, they used to, that you're kind of contemporizing it for a younger audience?
Well, we do a lot of educating, yes, young audiences. I think actually a string quartet is ideal. It costs a lot less money to bring a quartet to a group of kids.
A school or something.
Yes, right, but they can get up close. They can get up close and sit right nearby, which is the way chamber music is supposed to be, with an intimate group with an audience very close, and they can ask questions. And I think, well, everyone in the group has kids, so we all know how important it is to teach the kids today, so we don't lose our audience. But I think the quartet, it's a great experience for everybody involved.
So what has your year been like as far as performances? Because I know you have several residencies throughout the country. You have one that you do out in Texas, Odessa, Texas.
Yeah, it will be in Odessa, Texas in February of 2015. And we're working with Ben Zander, who is a conductor in the Boston area. He conducts youth orchestras, and he's also a very wonderful speaker. And the teachers there are all really excited to work with him, and we'll be working with him and the kids too.
How long are you going to be there?
We'll be there a week. We'll play a final performance of the quartet, I believe, but also we'll be working with the kids and have a final performance with them.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier that 2 of the members of the group are over at Columbia University.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit about that.
I think I've been teaching there since my kids were born in 1990, so I've been there a long time, and Muneko Otani also teaches there. We both teach, I teach viola and chamber music, and she teaches violin and chamber music. The students are wonderful at Columbia, very intelligent, and they're self-starters, and it's a kind of a great community to be part of.
Right, because you get to do what you like to do. You're a musician, so it's not like you're going to work must seem like not that much of a drag, right?
Oh.
Because you're going to be teaching.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's very fun to go work there.
Yeah. So I guess I was looking at some of the performances that you've had and some that you have coming up.
Okay.
And I just wanted to bring Laura into the conversation as well, because now tell me about the show that you're going to be having at the Botanical Gardens.
Well, every holiday season, the Botanical Gardens is home to one of New York's great holiday gatherings, which is the Holiday Train Show. And tens of thousands of people come every weekend. And the programming staff at the Botanical Gardens reached out to me and said, you know, it would be really great if we could provide some concerts during the period that the train show is up, because people bring their families and it would be an added incentive for them to spend more time in the garden. We have a nice auditorium space, and it would be a special kind of respite from, you know, walking outdoors to come in and listen to some beautiful music that brings people together. So I had the thought that we should theme the concert around holiday time journeys because of the train show and America. And they liked the idea very much, and I immediately contacted my dear friends in the Cassatt Quartet, because over the years we've worked together. They have performed in other venues with me. Dvorak's quartet, the American Quartet, which was brought about when Dvorak was living in this country in the early part of the 20th century, and he was missing his bohemian countryside, and there was a large Czech community in Iowa. And he decided to get on a train and go across the country and spend the summer in Spillville, Iowa. And along the way, he was capturing some of the sounds of American folk music and nature. And as Sarah was saying earlier, you actually hear trains.
You hear trains.
And that sense of journey. And then another piece that the Cassatt performed recently is by Peter Schickele, who's a living composer. He's known more familiarly by his other persona of P.D.Q. Bach. And he wrote a string quartet called American Dream. And it, too, borrows from folk music and spirituals and bluegrass, and also is a journey. And just by coincidence, he was born and raised in Iowa. So there's something about going across the country and creating this musical journey that made this program really work.
Come together.
Really came together, and the Botanical Gardens is excited because they can pitch it to families bringing their little kids to see the trains, and now you can hear music that's about trains and about traveling, and we're going to go visit our relatives over the holidays, and it all becomes very real. But one of the things that's exciting about the way the Botanical Gardens wants to do this is to make it very informal and user-friendly, and because not every little kid has seen a string quartet, and I mean, as Sarah was saying, the whole education of youth is so important. And of course, the minute kids hear a string quartet and see the interaction and listen to all the different kinds of sounds, they're hooked. So we decided that in this short concert there'd be a conversation, and so I'll be moderating the conversation, and we'll have the different members of the quartet may demonstrate some of the techniques that create the sounds, and we'll talk about the story of journeys and what makes music sound American, but all in very easily understandable language, not, you know, music scholarly language. So it should be really fun.
It sounds excellent. You know, we had a guest on the show, Michael Boriskin of the Copeland House.
Of course. Yeah, he's a friend.
Oh, okay. So what you were talking about kind of describes some of the work that he's doing there, and kind of he opens or he has the Samuel Copeland House.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just reminded me of that. So how long was this in the works? Or how long have you been working on, you know, getting this concert together?
Well, the Botanical Gardens approached me in the middle of the summer and said, we need to decide to do this pretty quickly so we can put it into, you know, our budgeting and our marketing materials. Can you pull this together? And there's actually 2 concerts in the series.
Okay.
So, and the second one is on December 21st, and that is a small chamber orchestra doing 2 of the Brandenburg concertos and Vivaldi's Four Seasons, which is, you know, very popular music that's very much played during the holiday season. And doing it in the garden is just a beautiful thought. So I was very fortunate. I have good colleagues. I was able to call them up and say, hey guys, we have this opportunity to make music in one of New York's most beautiful places that's available for tens of thousands of people coming through. Would you sign up? And there was absolutely no argument about it.
No,
We knew it was a good beginning. We've done a lot of programs together in New York City and elsewhere, Connecticut, up in Maine. We did a chamber music festival together.
Yeah, we did children's concerts
We've
together.
done children's concerts with kids drawing. So I knew that this was the right ensemble
fit.
to make this start properly.
So you're actually a composer yourself. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your career?
Well, I just finished a piece yesterday, thank goodness. I was very happy about that. I've written a number of string quartets. I've written 6 string quartets, one of which was commissioned by and recorded by the Cassatt Quartet. And because the inspiration for that was because they're named after Mary Cassatt, the Impressionist painter, I wanted to write a piece that dealt with painting or issues around color and painting. So my piece was called Cadmium Yellow, and that was recorded about 2 years ago. I just had an opera that was produced in New York at BAM this past fall that I'm very happy was a wonderful experience. And in fact, the Cassatt Quartet was involved in some of the workshops before it came to the final performance. And it's for 2 singers and string quartet, all of them on the stage, and the string quartet actually was involved in some of the dramatic activity of the story on the
It
stage.
required a lot of the string quartet.
They were singing.
It
was great.
Great singing.
So which opera, or well, not which opera, what was it called?
It was called As One, and it's going to have a production in Utah in April and in Berkeley, California in July and August. And I believe a scene from it is going to be done in New York at Manhattan School of Music in their Contemporary Opera Scenes program in the spring. So I feel very happy about that. And I love, what Sarah was saying about the string quartet is a perfect ensemble. I couldn't agree more. The intimacy of a quartet, the fact that they really are the full range of the human voice from the lowest note of the cello to the highest note of the violin. They have to blend, they have to argue in order to figure out how to make a piece sound. So they have to be good communicators. It's very open and vulnerable and intimate. And I love that, and I love working with that level of nuance. So we actually have a project.
It's tough.
It's tough.
Is it the personalities of the group, or it's just tough to get the final product together?
Well,
Or
no,
the
it's
sound.
the most rewarding thing you could imagine. But yeah, the personalities and constantly being honest with each other or trying to help each other, trying to figure out. It's like having a committee meeting all the time, or
It's like couples therapy, but with 4 people.
Couples therapy. Wow, I can just think of like board meetings as like,
But I'm very excited because I'll be writing another piece for the Cassatt Quartet with pianist Ursula Oppens, who
she's
I've
fantastic.
had the privilege of working with as a composer. I wrote a piano concerto for her, and I've loved her playing and her mind and her spirit for about 30 years. I mean, I've known her for about that long when we were all in kindergarten together.
really?
And somehow there was a way that I saw how Ursula thinks about music and prepares music and responds to music. And having just recently worked with the Cassatt Quartet on Cadmium Yellow, I thought, I just have a hunch that these guys would be a good fit. And they've now been performing together regularly for about 3 years.
Yeah, every summer we play together, and you were. That was a great thing you
was-
did, putting us together.
It was just an intuition that this is the right sensibility and musical click. They really did bond.
She is an incredible musician.
So I'm going to
it's-
be writing a piece for the 5 of them, which I hope we'll get to hear in about a year and a half.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah,
That'll be
I
very
can't
exciting.
wait.
Yeah.
You've had a number of recordings that have been, very well received. The last one you did was Time to Burn, in April. Tell me a little bit about the whole process of putting that together and releasing it.
Well, the recording process is pretty exciting. We have a great recording engineer we frequently work with, and often at the Academy of Arts and Letters we record. And Judy Sherman often is our recording engineer. So
she's nationally renowned. I mean, I think she won 9 Grammys.
Oh, wow.
I mean, she's astonishingly brilliant to work with.
she's sort of like Mom.
So
very tough behind the
scenes.
You hear her saying, "No, that's not right yet. That's not right yet." She's but the whole process actually makes us play so much better because you have to be listening so carefully. You go in and listen, and oh, it's still not right. You go back and work, and so it's good for all of us. And it's kind of fascinating how fast you get better when you're recording.
Right. It seems like you've consistently put something out maybe every other year or every year. So are you currently working on a new album?
This one I can't tell you about right now in my mind. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry.
Why don't we say we hope it will be one with my piano quintet?
Okay,
how's that?
Oh, that sounds great, yeah.
So now that you have a fifth partner or a fifth member of the group, are you still going to call yourselves the Quartet, or you'll have to rename yourselves?
Oh, well, I guess, no, we'll still be playing with Ursula Oppens. It'll be Cassatt Quartet with Ursula Oppens. Yeah.
So you mentioned the performance at the Botanical Gardens is going to be, for our audience, the December 7th.
Yes.
And they can go to the website why don't you tell them the website they can go to?
Sure. It's the New York Botanical Gardens website. It's nybg.org. The concert's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's after you've wandered around the train show and walked through the paths in the garden and want to warm up and be inside as the sun starts to set. It's an hour of music and conversation, and it should be a really special event. So it's nybg.org.
So is it just the one show that happens at 4, or is it consecutively through the evening?
No, just
the
4.
one?
And I think, I don't remember exactly, I think the Botanical Gardens may close at 6 in the winter because it gets dark. It's kind of hard to be walking around in the dark when it's cold.
Right, when it's cold. That's one thing that's kept me away from seeing that train show.
Yeah. Well, come now.
Yeah. I guess it's outside, or is it inside?
I have to say, I haven't been to the train show since I was a little kid. So I'm going to rediscover it.
Rediscover it, right?
I'm going to rediscover it this year. I mean, they have indoor space for exhibition in the winter.
Right.
I think the train show may be so big that it extends outside, but I should have checked that out before I came.
All the more reason to direct people to the website where they can get more information.
I mean, I'm sure that everybody remembers those train images. They're always broadcast on TV because it's amazing. I mean, just this vast network of trains and, perfectly proportioned.
It's always highlighted, like let's say in the New York Times or things to do, besides going to the tree and, various places. But Sarah, you mentioned a performance you're going to be having at Tenry.
Right, the Tenry Cultural Institute.
So that's actually going to be happening a little sooner. That's going to be at the end of November. I think you said the 23rd.
Right, on the 23rd at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's at on 13th Street, and it's called Kamaraku Aloha, and it's musicians, composers from University of Hawaii will be coming. We're playing their music. It's very beautiful. Shakuhachi and string quartet and Koto and string quartet. Very beautiful.
So how did you come to get that gig?
Yeah, Hawaii. You should be going there in December. November.
The composer James Schleffer wrote a piece for us that we played in New York City, and then we went with him and played in Hawaii and played some other pieces by Hawaii composers. So I got to bring my son with me, and we went there. And now they're coming back to play in New York. We'll be doing the same concert in New York.
Okay, so what time will that performance be, or can they go to the website to follow up?
Go to the website, cassattquartet.com, but it's at 4 o'clock on the 23rd. We will be I think, hoping to record Sam Adler's string quartet, the 10th string quartet. We played that last summer at Bowdoin Music Festival, and we'll be going to Beijing in the spring to play at the Beijing Contemporary Music Festival. I'm not sure the title of it, but
I'm getting very jealous. What kind of job do you have that you can take off all this time and go traveling around the world?
That's the job.
That is the job.
That is the job, right? So teaching is just your side thing.
Well, at Columbia, I'm an associate. I have like 3 or 4 hours, so it's not a full-time job at Columbia.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I found really just exciting about just the way that you guys perform or what you're doing? It seems that you've had such a lengthy career that you really have just found your niche, kind of, with certain places. And, I know that Jennifer is from Texas, and you have some places that you prefer to, that you've been performing at for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's really nice. It must be nice, like, as the years go on, people look forward to seeing you.
We do. We have favorite places to go and play, and we have audiences that ask for us, which that's a great thing. That's great. And I certainly have favorite places that I look forward to going back to. We'll be going to Seal Bay Music Festival again this summer. That's something we've done every other season, and then for the last 2 years we've done it every season. And Laura will be there this summer as
Artistic administrator.
Yes.
So are you more on the, well, I don't want to say the business side of the quartet, but how often do you collaborate?
I would say as much as we possibly can. I mean, for the last number of years, we've done a project together probably every year. Either my quartet, or when I'm not in the role of a composer, I'm often in the role of a producer or presenter. So I have often worked with the quartet on projects that don't involve my music.
Okay.
So they invited me as a guest composer 2 years ago to be at Seal Bay up in Maine, and I had a fantastic experience. They were working on my quartet, rehearsing in one part of the house overlooking the water, and I was in the other part of the house writing my piano concerto. And then we'd get together and make fantastic meals and share music in the evenings, and then I would go to rehearsals. And then we went all around Maine, off the island onto the mainland, and did workshops with kids and in art centers and concerts. And this year they invited me to come back as the artistic administrator to expand what the festival does. So I'll be in the role of both, actually 3 parts really: composer, educator, and administrator. So it will be great.
That sounds terrific. So I want everyone to really, there was another performance coming up on January 18th. Why don't you quickly tell us about that?
Chamber Music America.
Chamber Music America National Conference.
Okay, it's the conference, right. And we'll be playing Daniel Godfrey's string quintet. That's for 2 cellos, and string quartet plus cello. And so that'll be very exciting to play that.
Well, we're looking forward to it. I'm so glad we had a chance to talk about this because, as I mentioned, I wanted to have you guys on and just, expose my audience to it and get them to listen to your music. So I hope we can catch you at any of the performances you have coming up. I'm going to definitely try to go to the Botanical Gardens.
Great. We'll see you there.
I want to thank you both for, coming down. Give our audience a way to find you on the net.
Web.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's CassattQuartet.com. And you should be able to look at our website and find upcoming concerts.
Okay, and then besides the stuff for the Botanical Gardens, you have a personal website or something where people could communicate with you?
LauraKaminsky.com.
Oh, look at that. That's pretty
pretty easy.
Absolutely. Well, my living arts audience, thank you for tuning in. I had a great time talking to these ladies. I hope you did too. Definitely follow up and go check out the show at the Botanical Gardens. Follow us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and we will see you again soon. Peace.